So Shure have just released their exciting new MoveMic. It's a tiny little wireless microphone, and in this video I want to review it, compare it to its competitors, and help you decide whether you should jump straight onto Amazon and buy it or give it a miss. And it's not as straightforward a decision as you might think. There's a lot we need to consider here. And I do need to point out that Shure have sent me this microphone to review, but they're not paying me and the opinions are all my own. So here they are. Now, I've got the package with 2 transmitters and a receiver, but you don't necessarily need the receiver, and you might not actually need to have 2 mics. So Shure have given you all of those options as well. What? I don't need a receiver? Nope, not if you plan to record with your phone. And I feel that's the primary audience for this mic. And why not? Because vertical video is where it's all at, right? So first, let's appreciate how small this little microphone actually is. When I put it alongside my RodeGo, which is what I was using previously, there's a huge difference in size here and weight. And it gets better because that isn't the way around you have it. It's this way around. So all I need to have visible is this tiny little clip. I think that actually looks like I've got a pen sitting there in my pocket. So how do we sync this with our phone? You download Shure's Motiv Video app, open it up and search for a mic. Then squeeze your microphone till you see the lights flashing blue and red, and within seconds you're going to be paired. And once you've initially connected them, your phone will remember them next time. That's huge. I love the simplicity of the app menu. I've got the Shure MV7 as my main microphone, and I run it through the Motiv app on my Mac. We've actually got a popular setup video for that microphone on this channel, and I basically stick to Shure's automatic default settings. Well, this app is very much the same. I was expecting to show you all of the options of compression and high pass filters, but once again, all you got to do is choose your use case and the app does the rest. So for 90% of users, you'll stick to the default speech preset and the app chooses the compression level and the high pass filter settings. If you're singing, you've got your own preset. Or there's the flat preset for those of you who want to manually set up your EQ and other settings. And they also have noise reduction, and it's really good, as you're going to hear in a bit. Sometimes knocking out the background noise can make you sound robotic and really processed, but I can't really tell the difference here, only that background sound has disappeared. But I do need to tell you something. You will need to use Shure's app to record your videos. The mic won't work with your default camera or apps like Filmic Pro, unless you want to use the receiver and send a connection in as an external microphone. I was really cheesed off when I first heard this, but I have to say that Shure's app is actually pretty nice. No, it's not going to do everything that Filmic Pro does, and sadly I can't access my camera's cinematic mode, but for a vlogger or a content creator who this is aimed at, it kind of does all we need. I can adjust the frame rate, the resolution, choose between my front cameras or my rear camera, and there's a face tracking, so actually it'll keep locked onto me and keep me in focus. So really, I'm good. One niggle for me in the UK is that the app seems to cater for a US audience, in that there's no frame rate suitable for our lighting. In daylight, this isn't an issue, but if you're indoors with lighting, you're likely to get some banding going on there. So this definitely needs addressing in the app. It's nothing to do with the microphone, of course, but if we're being forced to use the app, this could stop me from being able to do that. So that's how it connects to your phone. And for that, you don't need the receiver. In fact, if you don't really intend to interview, you can save $250 by purchasing the MV1 kit for $249. That comes with just a single microphone and no receiver. And to be honest, I think that'll be the most popular option. If you do plan to interview, but you still plan to use your phone, you can upgrade to the MV2 at $349 and get a second transmitter, but still no receiver. But if you want to connect directly to your camera or your computer, you're going to want the kit with the MVR receiver that's built into it as well. And that's $499. So is it as easy to connect to your camera? Yeah. Place the receiver onto the hot shoe mount of your camera and connect the audio cable to the mic input of your camera. Turn on the receiver, it'll tell you it's searching. Turn on your microphone in the same way that you did, and it'll find it. Now, I do find that if you're jumping between your phone and using the receiver, it might struggle to find it. You might just need to click to forget it and lose that one. press it, find it again for that first time to bond. Again, still within seconds. Then on the receiver, I can select the same presets and noise reduction that was on my phone. As the gain is the main thing that I'm going to be changing, that's back on the main screen where I can always be monitoring the signal strength and the battery levels. And I do like how actually this sits up right on top of the camera and I can see it as I'm looking at my camera. And you can also use that receiver in the same way to connect straight in via USB to your computer if you want to. Now, initially I thought, I'm never going to use that. I'm never recording without going into a camera, and I would always prefer to send the feed into my camera, then across HDMI, so that I'm getting that nice synced up audio video. How have we got this far through the video and I haven't actually let you listen to the microphone yet? Sorry, someone's going to be complaining in the comments, I know. There's just too much cool stuff to share with you about this. So let's clip her in and switch over to the MoveMic. Now, be reasonable. You've just been listening to me on the Shure MV7, a gorgeous podcast microphone, and this little thing's never going to compete with that. But this is a different beast, right? This is for when we're out and about or we need to move around and come away from this desk and the microphone. So I feel we really need to compare this with a direct competitor, which is why we've got the RodeGo attached as well. So both mics are recording at the minute, and as I keep talking, you're going to see on screen that we're cutting between these two microphones randomly as we go through. Now, aside from the sound difference that you might or might not hear, this is a much smaller, lighter mic than the RodeGo. Now you can see, look, this is me clipping it onto a t-shirt. This Rode mic really isn't comfortable. It looks silly, it's pulling my t-shirt down, whereas the Shure one, you can hardly see. And so typically when I've been using this Rode mic in the past, I would actually have this clipped onto my belt and plug in a microphone. So I've got a light little lavalier mic or even a headset microphone attached. And that actually raises an interesting point, because if that's a use case that you want, then you're not going to be able to do that with this Shure microphone, because there is no external microphone input for it. It's not designed to be clipped onto your belt and having a microphone in it. It's way too small and light for that. So if you plan on maybe a fitness instructor or a public speaker and you want to have that earpiece attached to you, this really isn't the microphone for you. But as it is as small and lightweight as this, do you really need to be having all that extra gear? Or could you just, as a fitness instructor, kind of have this strapped on up here on whatever you're wearing? That's kind of up to you. So what do you think? I've been cutting between these two microphones and I'm curious to hear if you can hear any difference, and if you can, which one you prefer. I'm just going to be silent for a minute. We do have an aircon in the background, and I'm curious as we jump between these two, can you hear just that noise in the silence? Now, everything we've done with this so far has been sat at my desk in my office, and you're probably thinking, hang on a minute, I want to be able to go out and about with this. And so do I. So why don't we do that and just see what do we think to this actually out in the field? Okay, let's go. So here I am in sunny Cyprus, and what a beautiful view. Look at that. It's not a sandy beach, but hey, I'm good with this. So what do we think anyway? This is the sort of thing I can imagine using this microphone and camera for. So clipped in down here, tiny little thing, very discreet. I'm holding this at sort of arm's length, and we're going to hear in a minute because I want to run it through again and just use the microphone that's actually built into the camera. But this is the kind, I could imagine doing this, doing little messages like this or B-roll. And I'm interested to get as good a quality as possible for this. So what do we think to it? That's actually quite loud to see. I'm curious, this has got a noise removal on it. So does that make a difference? Now I'm going to flick it over and just use the built-in microphone. And then this is exactly the same, but this time I'm just using the phone's built-in microphone. So how different is that? Is that picking up more sound from the sea, from the water? A few lorries and that passing. And then here we are back at the complex. And again, probably sort of walking around somewhere like this. And this again, I can hear a lot of noise below me, the water coming through this in the pool. So I'm curious whether that's being picked up. Again, I'll run the same test through and see what it's like with the phone. And then I'm standing in exactly the same position here, Can you hear that sound now? Is that different? Is that sounding much worse for being the built-in mic? Here I am then, this is microphone clipped in, this is me down at the harbour, and I don't have the noise reduction turned on right now. I find that's from what I've heard so far through my headphones, it does seem to be a nicer, cleaner sound. I'll flick the noise reduction on. There's creaking of the boats, general kind of noise going on here, but it's pretty quiet and peaceful. So let me flick it over. Okay, so I haven't moved, exactly the same place, exactly the same creaks and noises and things, but with noise reduction turned on. So what do we think to that? Does that make much of a difference? And then to kind of end this test, actually it's getting a little bit creakier down here. For some reason, these boats seem to be catching the wind more than the others. We'll come to the end of here, I'll turn around and then we'll flick it over actually to the inbuilt microphone and have a listen to what that sounds like. Okay, so this is now the built-in microphone. Not very good with this gimbal, but I thought it might be a nice opportunity to have a play with it actually. Creaking, groaning noises from the boats. Got a bit of wind up. You can see from my hair flapping around. How different is that? Can you see the sails moving? Yeah, is that doable? Do we need these mics? Now, I did just want to slip on a shirt and clip on the microphones to that and see whether there's any difference in the sound that they're picking up from rubbing and moving around. So I'm going to talk for a bit and I'm just going to keep moving around and you tell me if you can hear anything. Okay, so they're both in the same position. Wrong side. They're both in the same position there. I've flipped the Rode around backwards as well, except that does bug me that Rode's logo is upside down in that case, but hey, back off with the OCD. So, price. As I mentioned, you can buy 3 different packages depending on your requirements, and they start at $249 for the single microphone, $349 if you want the double mic, and $499 if you want the double mic with the receiver. So it's definitely dearer than both the RodeGo and the DJI mics, but is it a superior sound? And would you pay that difference for the convenience of the tiny microphone? Honestly, I would. Because I'm used to wearing a t-shirt and just want the convenience of clipping a microphone on, that is just, it's not an option to me. So then I have to have this clipped on, run a cable up my t-shirt and plug a microphone in up here. I absolutely love the idea of just tucking this on here. You can't see it really, and away I go. So that to me is an absolute game changer. And yeah, I would pay the difference over the RodeGo for that alone, regardless of whether it sounds much better. And how easy would it be to interview someone to just go up to them with this and say, can you just attach that on there, rather than trying to thread cables at them and without awkwardly trying to ask them to attach this thing to them somewhere. What about battery life? You get 8 hours of battery life out of each of these microphones, and the charger case will keep topping them up every time you place them back in, and that holds 24 hours of total charge before you need to plug the case in. Now, let me leave you with a couple of cool features that I discovered as well. Firstly, from the software, you can actually live stream. So from the Shure MoveMic app, you can actually stream straight out to Facebook, or you can go to other destinations like YouTube using an RTMP key. And what I'm really excited about is that you can sync this with your Apple Watch. So if you are out and about and you want to start and stop a recording or even adjust the gain on there, you can do that from your watch. So I reckon if you're in a place where you put your camera away at a distance from you rather than having to hit record and get back in place, that's a great little feature. So there it is. Personally, I reckon Shure have come up with a real winner with this, and I'm excited to take it out and shoot more videos while I'm here in Cyprus. But I'd love to hear what you think and how you might use this, so please do let me know in the comments. And if you got questions about anything we've discussed, fire away and I'll get back to you. Thank you so much. I'll see you in another video.